Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Chelsea in Oregon. It feels very early, coffee time. I'm with you, girl. And Marnie and I are wearing our green for St. Patrick's Day. I've already had 2 helpings of corned beef and cabbage. Not
I have
really,
not.
but
I have not.
maybe some Lucky Charms because it's a little early for us here in the Bay Area, but we're so excited to have you all here today. This is our Product 101, and we're also going to be adding a little bit about community design to get you really excited for our next masterclass, which starts March 23rd, next week. So just wanted to do intros. I'm Jane. I'm on the marketing team here at Mighty Networks, and with me I have Marnie.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Marnie. I work with hosts like you, and the customer advocacy team is also, we've got two folks here this morning. Sagar is going to be in the Ask a Question, and as well as Brady. You'll see her in the chat and Ask a Question. So we are really just excited to spend time with you today and go through the product. And like Jane said, talk about community design, one of my favorite things to talk about in terms of our framework.
Yes. A little bit of housekeeping. So you can ask a question in the Ask a Question section, and then people can upvote your question there. So try to put it in there and not the chat. That's where we'll be trying to answer them. And at the end of this, depending on time, Marty and I will go through and try to answer any ones that have been upvoted that we haven't been able to give another answer to. You will receive the recording of this after the event. Do not panic. You will get it. It will be emailed to you. And we will also post it in Mighty Hosts, which is our community for hosts running Mighty Networks. If you're not in there, got to get in there. Don't miss the party. So today we're going to answer a few of the questions you submitted in advance. These typically follow pretty clear themes. Everybody has a lot of the same questions, which is great. So we'll kind of start to go through there. And as we do that, we'll be giving you a little tour of the structure of a Mighty Network. And then we're going to show you a sneak peek of community design, talk a little bit more about that class as we talk about how to build a course on a Mighty Network. And then we'll also take questions from the audience. So the goal of this session is to help you feel super grounded in the product, in the overview, so that you feel really confident just going into the Community Design Masterclass. I feel like sometimes people think that class looks great, but I want to spend 4 weeks learning the buttons and the network and putting everything in the right place. So this is the push to tell you don't need to do that. We'll talk a little bit more about what you might want to do before you start community design. It's not a lot. And you'll kind of get an overview of a Mighty Network, and then you'll go into class feeling super, super confident. So that is the purpose of today's session. Sound good? Sound good. I see some questions popping off in the chat. Put them in Ask a Question so we can get to them. That's the easiest way. All right. So the first questions that we want to tackle are kind of these like bigger existential community questions, right? We had a lot of them, people saying, how do I get started? Why do I get started? How do I know people will show up for my community? There's 2 things I want to make sure you know. One is that all you need, you could probably start today, is your big purpose, which is why you are bringing people together to master something interesting and important, interesting or important. This is it. We give you the framework for getting super, super crystal clear on your motivation for starting a community in the Community Design Masterclass. And that's really what you need to start. I feel very confident that everybody in the chat here from all around the world could spend a few minutes thinking about their big purpose and start their Mighty Networks tomorrow. It's pretty simple. So we'll talk a little bit more about the big purpose and how we walk you through kind of identifying that in the community design section. But another thing that I want to call out, and I have some case studies. Marnie, if you don't mind sharing your screen, because I think these really paint the picture. We had a few questions about how many people do I need to get into my community to make it a thing, right? Do I need to have Kardashian levels of followers to start a community? And the answer is no. So I want to call out these two stories of awesome. We have these case studies. And this one is about a sound engineer. So his big purpose was around bringing together other sound engineers so they could learn from each other and progress in their careers. And what I love about his membership is it's a paying membership. There's under 200 people in it. He said he really wanted to focus on quality over quantity, was not looking for, a 50,000 person membership. He wanted about 70 people who would be really active, who cared about each other, and who were out there working and looking to improve themselves, right? That's it. It doesn't have to be a bigger vision than that. And he runs a really, really successful business with this membership, right? I think it's about $46.99 a month for his mastermind membership. It's way too early for me to do math, y'all, but you can do the math there with under 200 members. That's a really significant business, and they're all brought together by this big purpose that he so clearly identified. So jumping over to this other one, and this is just another example. This is the Willing Equine, another under 200 members Mighty Network. And again, what I love about here, this, as she says, is designed to be a super intimate group. The people who are in the mentorship group take it very seriously. She has a structure where she's offering really specific mentorship to people progressing in their careers as horse trainers. And again, she's charging $120 a month because what she's giving is very valuable. It's to a group of people who are super engaged, and the community is mastering this very specific topic together, which I love. So hopefully these two stories, and Brady's putting the links to them in the chat so you can check them out. There's a ton of stories of awesome. And you can always kind of see, okay, what was the spark? Why did they want to bring people together? And you can see the different pathways these people took to make some super successful Mighty Networks. And I love to kick off with that. It's one of our great resources is the success stories, because hopefully they help you see the wide range of people using Mighty Networks and all the different ways you can bring people together. You want to go to the success stories homepage? Oh, great. Thank you, Marnie. So you can kind of see, we have everybody from people bringing people together for really important anti-racist work. We have a brick and mortar sewing store that started doing classes online during the pandemic. We have some amazing communities around professional groups like HR or financial advisors. We have a lot of great spiritual groups. And all of these people, we have a cake pop group, right? All of these people had a niche and had a big purpose that really brought some pretty incredible people together to make some changes and see those results in their life that they wanted to see. So I could talk about all of these. I will talk about a few more at the end as we get into community design, because I want to showcase some of our graduates. But let's jump over. I want to, Joanne, love Tiffany from Cake Pop. She's pretty cool. She's pretty cool. I want to jump over to some other resources you have at your disposal. We're going to really try to answer a ton of questions in this session, but even though I am talking very fast, we're not going to get to all of them. This is our help center. So you can dig in here if you have a more technical question. Try to be very thorough. A lot of these articles start with how to, here's how, right? These are going to walk you through what to do. And this is a great resource to pop into when you're stuck. And we also have, I mentioned already, we have our own Mighty Network for Mighty hosts, just like you, of all stages of their journey. It's called Mighty Hosts, and this is where the community talks to each other. They share challenges, they share wins. This is where we host the Community Design Masterclass. We'll get into that in a little bit. And this is where we let you know about more workshops like this, other maybe interviews or events we'll do. And it's a really encouraging, supportive, inspiring place where we all love to spend time. And I think if you spend a little time in there, you'll love it too. That's what we got. And Marnie, while you're in here, this is the perfect time to jump over to the Mighty checklist. Actually,
Yeah.
let's jump over to the homepage. So this is kind of a question that I want to pose to you, which is, are you that person who's like, I want to know everything I need to do before I take community design, right? I get the sense that some of you are. So I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you right now. Number one, create your Mighty network, right? This is an important step. We have a 14-day free trial of our business plan, which is our most popular plan. And what that means is you're going to go in and there's not going to be things that are locked or you can't access. You can play around with all the features. Number two, visit the Mighty checklist. So the Mighty checklist, and I think someone mentioned it in the chat already, which I love. Let's see it. The Mighty checklist makes it easy. Liba, thank you. The Mighty checklist does make it easy. So when you create your network, you're going to see this Mighty checklist. In Mighty Host, we get a gold star. Ours is 100% complete. You're going to start at 0. And what I want you to do is just take a look at your Mighty checklist when you start your network. Look at a few of these templated articles, right? We give you starting points for an article about your big purpose, to welcome people to your network. We kind of give you all these templates and drafts that you can get started with super easily. Now note, I did not say you have to finish the Mighty checklist before joining community design. Don't worry about that. I just want you to take a look at it, get familiar with it, and start to poke around all the features. Again, that with this session where we're going to show you the structure will give you a really nice grounding in all the possibilities of your Mighty network, which is great. And then if you scroll down in here, you'll see that there are ways to integrate other tools. So this is a great place to check out if you already have a website, if you have an email list, if you have other things you're doing, if you're moving a community, you can start to get a feel for, okay, what are the other tools I'm using, in my business, in my community that I might want to connect to a Mighty network. One of the most popular integrations we have is with something called Zapier. It's, Martin, you have a great analogy for it. It's like duct tape on the internet. What do you call it?
I call it the digital middleman.
Digital middleman.
It's really for something happens to your Mighty network and you want to tell another web service about it automatically, right? Or something happens over somewhere and you want to, make something happen inside your Mighty network. So we have a really fantastic step-by-step videos, all that good stuff. So Zapier is another service you can use to make things even easier as you set things up or connect them with your outside world. Or you probably have a custom domain somewhere or considering getting one. It can definitely be an advantage to have your Mighty network and your main website connected with members.mycooldomain.com.
Yeah. There's so many ways you can brand your Mighty network as well. And, you can start to think about, how do I want it to look and feel? Again, coming out of community design, you're going to kind of have you're going to get so crystal clear on what your network is and what it's for and who your ideal member is, that can inform a lot of the next steps you take. Going back to Zapier, some of the things I know are popular to connect to a Mighty network are ConvertKit, MailChimp, HubSpot. So you can do a lot with this digital middleman, probably better than digital duct tape, but what can I say? Another integration to call out is our Zoom integration. And what I love about this is it makes it so easy to do events, to do live events. We're using Crowdcast today, which is another great integration. As you can see, works awesome. But that Crowdcast is great when we're talking to a large group of people, but we also do smaller sessions, workshops, office hours, and Zoom works beautifully with Mighty Networks. And it has a really great experience on mobile. In the Mighty Networks app, they're going to click the button, it's going to show up perfectly, and it's really seamless. Oh, Sharab, maybe you should do a workshop on Zapier ideas.
We have it. It's actually, we did a whole hour-long session for those of you that are thinking about upgrading to the business plan. We actually have inside here in Mighty Hosts, we have a special section just for business hosts. So we have done a special event that we have recorded in there. And then again, there's a lot that's actually in the Help Center as well. So, and we'll show you around some other parts of Mighty Hosts. Both, this is a double whammy, right? We're talking to you about how to use a Mighty Network as, a host. This is kind of the administrative view, if you want to think of it that way. And we're also showing you what are all the resources for you that exist in the community that we have here in Mighty Hosts as you're setting up your network. So kind of double dipping here.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So to recap, before you start community design, Jane, where's the checklist? What do I need to do? Let me do all the 100 things. No. Start your network, take a look at the Mighty checklist, and think about plugging in the other parts of your business to a Mighty network. That last step is optional. You don't need to, but it can be helpful to start to see the possibilities of how things work together. Everything else, what kind of topics do I set up? What should my course be? What should my event theme be? What should I be posting in the feed? Everything else will come from your big purpose, which is lesson 1 of the Community Design Masterclass. And you'll see as we take a sneak peek at the class, how the lessons build on each other. And by the end of it, you have a community plan and you are ready to launch. You're ready to go. So with that, since we're in Mighty Hosts, Marnie, this may be the perfect time to jump into the kind of structure of a Mighty network and how things are organized.
Let's do it. All right, so what you're seeing here, this is the main network area. This is where anyone who joins your Mighty network, they all have membership to this main area. Okay, so it's general. Everybody is here. This is your. If you walk into a conference area, it's the main mingling area, right? And your role here is to make sure that if you bring people in, that you have that big purpose really evident, that they know what to do. That's a lot of things we were just talking through. I'm going to kind of switch into the gear of what else is here and what are some of the big things you should know about out the gates. So you can have groups, you can have courses that are experiences that are kind of one level deeper than your main network. And just as a note, we'll look at courses, like Jane said, we'll go deep into a course. A group is almost like a mini version, it's a carved out version of your Mighty network. So we'll talk about groups for a minute too. Now, what we don't have here is like you're coming straight into the activity feed, which I'll take you through in a minute. If you take a step back, if you haven't yet joined, you're gonna hit at hosts.mn.co, you're gonna hit our landing page. And I'm gonna take you through what landing pages can look like, as well as a couple of different ways that you can set your privacy or payment at the front door. So we're going to start first with a paid Mighty network called the Happy Startup School. So, and Brady's going to put these links in so you have them for reference as well to be able to come back and check these out. We think these are very inspirational landing pages. So again, in your checklist, which is you go to your avatar photo, you go to network settings. In there, there's also the landing page guide and how to get started on this. Very, very easy editor kind of throughout this. So this looks really beautiful and fancy. Setting it up is really easy. So this is you can see right here who they're for. There's a choose a plan button that's going to stay with us as we move down the page. And you can see they're really making the case for what this is. What is the Happy Startup School? What's behind this paywall? And not just with words, you also get to meet Carlos and Lawrence in this video. This right here, this is a screenshot from inside the Mighty Network's mobile apps. So as you're running your network, you can have folks on iOS or Android using the Mighty Networks apps signed into your world. So this is what it looks like inside their world. And then, of course, they're going to have some testimonials. And Carlos even comes back with another video. Are you an artist or entrepreneur? Again, giving folks a way to get to know them before making the commitment, which if we're convinced at this point, we're going to see that the membership plan, it's $35 a month. This is the payment integration that is inside and available to you inside your Mighty Network, which can be at the front door, can be payment for a group or a course, or even a bundle of those experiences. So you have a lot of options there. And we can see that they have, again, made the case right here in the actual plan that I'm considering. How many people are there? What are the benefits? How's this going to work? I even get a month free. So they've set up a free trial for the first month. So that is the payments or paid Mighty Network. All right. And by the way, payments is a whole other session we're going to be able to cover today. This is the 101 version. Payments, again, we have a lot in the Help Center, a lot of videos that walk you through. And of course, our customer advocacy team is ready to answer those questions, answer them all day long in an ongoing way. So, I might be signed in here. Hang on. This is, some of you may have heard of Singularity University. So we're trying to get you to a landing page. There we go. And they have these buttons here, join or explore, because it's public. Well, it's public right now. They're about to change it. Something else you can do in your Mighty Network is you can change settings from public to private or private to public. These are all toggles inside your Mighty Network. I'll make sure you have the link to how to think about your front door. But we can explore, or we can just go ahead and join. And so if I explore inside here, which I'll do just to show you, I'm getting a sanitized version, essentially, like a non-personalized version. Anywhere that I'm a member, that starts to create a personalized experience that you can see in here. There's one of the Zoom meetings. They do these fabulous meet and greets on a regular basis, and had a lot of people in that Zoom meeting. That would be that really awesome Zoom integration that we were just talking about. And then you can see that that there's different things happening here. There's actually an event happening right now. Jane knows this about me. This is like catnip for me. I want to know on. This is it's actually there is no meet and greet today. They rescheduled it. So this is more of an announcement post because they do these on such a regular basis. So that just gives you a sense of public means we can come in and look around and then decide to join. Someone's going to be prompted to join if they try and really participate in any way. So, and then there's private. So this is a Mighty Network that has so much just visual style. I love it. This request to join button is what you'll see at the front door of a private Mighty Network. And so it's essentially a member saying, here's who I am. And you can even put 5 questions if you're on the business plan, you put 5 questions up to, in whatever way you want, so that you can get to know people a little bit before you approve their request to join. But this, again, you see who's here, why they're saying you would belong here, what's inside. Again, painting the picture because people can't kind of go in and look around first, like we just did with the Global SU community. The other thing, again, take screenshots, put them in the places that you're advertising. I see those all over both landing pages here and in even on other people's websites, right? You might be talking, here's my podcast, here's my community and my network, here's my courses that are inside my community, and heavily promote what it actually looks like if it's behind a particular wall. Okay. So, and then Brady's going to put this in terms of how to think about privacy settings and what to do there. So she'll put that in the chat. All right. So I think I need to go back to Mighty Hosts. All right. We'll land you back in. I try and give you signals as we go because sometimes it can be dizzy. I'll go to lots of places here on these tabs. So there's a personal feed, right? Showing my personal feed here. Anyone, members, hosts can narrow things down and make choices, and that will change what's in the feed below for that instance. When you come back in, it's going to reset to the personal feed and last activity, but you can also see that there are lots of ways that someone can create their own experience at any moment in here. Mostly the feed is whatever I belong to, whatever is relevant to me, whatever conversations I'm in. So it makes it a really, it's the heartbeat of the network for each member, but it's also their unique one. It's not some other algorithm outside somewhere saying whether or not they should see something, right? So that is really one of the powerful things about the network. So here we have this, by the way, we'll come look at this community design masterclass in a minute. But this is someone offering feedback. I'm a part of this class, so I'm seeing it in my feed. But someone who's not part of the class is not going to see it in their feed, if that makes sense. All right.
Should we talk about engagement? Yes, let's do it. So there are lots of great types of posts you can do as a host to encourage engagement from your community. I think this is one of the common fears that people have that holds them back. They're like, am I going to start a community and it's going to be, I can't make the noise of a cricket. And that's not it. Whatever a cricket sounds like, you know what I mean? Is that what my community is going to feel like? Is someone going to walk in and then awkwardly back away because there is not a party happening? No, we got you. So some of the best ways to encourage engagement with your members is to make it really easy. And that's why we have polls and questions. So what you're looking at here is our icebreaker question in Mighty Hosts. This is a question every new member sees when they join. You can set it up right from your Mighty checklist. It's in the Mighty checklist. We encourage you to set it up. And what this does is it gives them something super easy to do when they join. You're going to see their answer as the host. The rest of the community is going to see their answer. And you can see we have cheers, we have replies. We have this party at the front door when people are joining. And we've had the same icebreaker question for a while. We wanted to have that consistency, but you could totally mix it up. You could align it to your monthly themes, which is something we teach you about in Community Design Masterclass. You could align it to things happening in the world. It's really a fun feature that you could have it be really serious. You could have it be kind of silly. You could just keep it fresh, which is something fun to do. So that is one type of question, very specific in who it's shown to, where it's shown. We also have the ability to ask questions in the feed. This is a type of poll called a hot-cold poll. It's a beautiful visualization. And this is used metaphorically to take the temperature of your community on certain things. So here we were asking, hey, how do you feel about asking these kind of controversial, thought-provoking questions? Marnie answered it. She's a little more cautious than the bulk of the the bulk of the community, which is totally cool. But as a host of Mighty Network, of Mighty Hosts, what I love about this is it kind of tells me something about my community, right? Not only is it something fun for them to engage with and learn about each other, right? And learn, oh, maybe I should be asking somewhat more controversial questions. Maybe I can use this hot cold poll in my community, but it tells us how they're feeling, right? This is a great feedback loop for us. And you can see all the comments have kind of given hosts other ideas of how to use them, what to use them for. So it generated a really cool discussion. Then we have the percentage question. So again, this is another one where not only is it super easy for members to engage with the poll, and it tells them, maybe it gives them an idea for what they could do, or it's teaching them about the product. In this case, we're teaching people about scheduling their Mighty Networks posts in advance. You can schedule your Mighty Networks posts in advance, by the way. Marnie is a scheduler. More so than the rest of the community, right? So again, we're learning something about our Mighty Hosts. Maybe this tells me, I wonder if as many people know about the scheduling function as they should, or maybe the way they're using their community, they want it all to be like real time and they're spending a ton of time in there. So you can kind of, again, get that feedback from your community depending on what you're asking. And it's super fun for everybody to see where everybody else stands. And then the classic multiple choice. The last time we showed this one, I just want to call out, we had a question about the colors of the polls. So this one is yellow and the other one was green because we're assigning these polls to specific topics that have those colors. Totally customizable. So you can set up your topics to be whatever brand colors, whatever colors are important to you. And then the questions you ask and tag with those topics will be those colors. So that's why this one is yellow. But multiple choice, again, giving people one click to engage. That's all they need to do. And you can have a discussion in the comments, right? You can add like other discussion comments and start to see what people are saying about the questions you're asking. And there's so much you can learn from doing polls and questions. So it's kind of a triple threat, right? It's easy for members to do. It gets them talking. They like seeing the responses and learning about each other. And you learn something and can tailor more content about it. So it's kind of a win-win-win. Someone shared their I don't know if they're in this chat, someone shared a picture of their very intense organizational structure, which I'm kind of into. I have a sad whiteboard that I haven't cleaned in a while. So that's I'm inspired. It's an aspirational comment there. And that's polls and questions. So, we encourage you to use them a lot. They're great. You'll learn a lot, and members love to engage with them. And this is probably a great time to jump over to topics. Oh, you want to show the guide, Marnie? Yeah.
I mean, who likes a good cheat sheet?
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. I love them. So guess what? We have the Help Center, of course, article, but also, again, anywhere in here, we're going to put the goodness. And some of it is actually from the Community Design Masterclass, like this one. And this is several pages of not just what are some questions, but also guidelines, right? This is a very specific way of inviting engagement. These aren't really survey questions, I want to be clear. Like there's not I'm going to know that Jane answered it this way. This is an engagement tool to get people comfortable in modeling a way that you can make it easy, safe, authentic for them to start participating. So you'll see guidance in here and then a whole lot of questions. So that is right at your fingertips. Again, the scheduler in me likes to have those ready to go and have at least a few of those in the weekly calendar to be able to have that, again, drumbeat, ways that are fun and easy for people to participate. Okay, so back to the main thing, topics. So again, setting up topics, we're gonna see it here, how to do it. It'll take you right to that from the Mighty Checklist. I'm going to go over and just show you the topics that we have here in the main network, and then you'll see very different topics when we go into the Community Design Masterclass in a minute. They're flexible. So image, color, those are all things that you can do. What you're seeing here all over the network, probably I should explain this a couple minutes ago, manage. So I'm a host. We're putting things in your hands right where you might be. You say, oh, I want to name a topic, or I want to put a different sort of explanation here for what it is. That is definitely something you can do from anywhere. So when you see these buttons on my screen here on the replay or as we're going through, your members won't see those, just you. Topics are ways to organize conversations. Think of it as a lightweight way to organize conversations. So if we went into engaging your members, this is going to be articles, which are rich media. Think of them as like blog posts. So you can do articles. You can also do quick posts. This is a quick post kind of question right here. Does anyone incorporate this into their community? Whereas some of these other things are going to be, again, a lot of quick posts. This is one of the things. If we went down and found that question, you'd see the question logo here as well. So think of it as a way to allow members or to even allow your team to organize these conversations, right? So you don't need tons of them to start. 4, 5, 6, something like that, kind of at the most. As your network grows and grows and grows over time, you might have more. So this is Yoga with Adrian, Adrian Michler, who's here. they have 200,000 people. They have lots of, kind of groups that they've done over time, and they have grown topics as more and more folks have come in. That's not where you're starting, probably. So My New Success Stories is someplace that our team has posted articles over time. So those case studies we looked at earlier, anyone can comment or cheer in there, but you can't post that topic. You won't find it in your list. The one I like to really encourage you to do is definitely your wins so that we can do your success stories. Yeah. All right. So that I think is a quick tour of topics.
One thing I want to add is, because I saw this question come up in Mighty Host recently, was someone was asking, oh, can I have people add a hashtag to their post, right, to group topics or to group their conversations? So if you're used to kind of thinking in that way, that's kind of what topics are for, right? So again, you can click on running events and you'll see everything that falls in that topic. And personally, I think it just looks a little cleaner and neater than a hashtag, but you can kind of think of them as equivalent if that's helpful to you.
That's right. There's also, you probably have seen it up here on top, there's a search bar. So you can search for different things, or within a topic, if we went into a particular topic, or within members or within a group. So you've got ways for members to also just search naturally. And that those keywords are gonna pop up from that article. Okay, so groups, I'm just going to touch on groups really quickly because, like I said, they are great for certain purposes. So let's say you're running a, click on here. You're not going to see these because these are all pretty much secret. We've had different groups over the last handful of years that we've kind of hidden these at this point. But the goal here is for you to be able to take, maybe it's a mastermind group. Maybe it is, a group that has a specific interest, or it's more sensitive and not something everyone is going to be comfortable talking about in the main area. I was talking about yoga with Adrienne. Over time, they started to see a real energy and lots of people wanting to talk about plant-based eating. So they took it from a topic into a group, and so now there's a Veggie Life group, and that's all kinds of recipes get shared in there, new tips, new products that members are sharing with each other. So that made sense to kind of put there, where they also have a pregnancy group for those who are pregnant and still practicing yoga. Again, very specific need. That's great for groups. Trying to start with groups at the gates is not something we recommend, because unless someone's in there or there's a very specific purpose or energy around it already, someone in there to essentially guide the group. Again, you can do kind of mini version of community design in each group. That will be more successful. But just setting up a bunch of groups to begin with is something that we encourage you to just hold off, get things moving in the main area, moving in a course, and wait till later in groups.
Love that. And you may, again, you're going to be learning all the time from your community. So what you think I know the exact structure that I'm going to do for my Mighty Network on day one, you might not. You might be surprised, right? This is a community. This is people coming together, and it may go in a slightly different direction than you had anticipated. And one of the lessons in our Community Design Masterclass is keep an open mind and really keep experimenting, try new things, because that's how you're going to land on what really works for your members, your results. Sharab says, surprise yourself. I love that. Surprise yourself. That's a motto. I'm going to put that on a Post-it. Surprise yourself.
Yeah. And one quick thing here is we're not going to every single feature today, but again, Eleni asked about topics and can they be different? The main Mighty Network area we're looking at here, where everyone is a member, that's one set of things. Inside the Community Design Masterclass, you're going to see we have different events that are restricted to that group. We have topics that are just for that course set of things we're doing together. So each course, each group can have different things turned on and different modes together, I guess is maybe the best way to do it. You can have group hosts and group moderators, or course hosts and course moderators and instructors. Like, those are specific permissions and anointing that you can do for different individuals inside those experiences. So
let's talk about courses. Shall we dig in?
Yes.
Let's dig in. So just zooming out, why do we even have courses? And when you think about it, one, people asked for them when we didn't have them. So we're listening. We listen to you. Don't think we don't. And they've been a great fit for Mighty Networks. They've been a great fit for our hosts. And when you think about it, it really makes sense, right? Because again, it all goes back to that big purpose. You are creating a community so you can bring a specific group of people together to master something interesting or important together. A course where you're learning something together is the perfect fit for that kind of motivation. So since we launched courses, it's been up and to the right in terms of who is using them, how they're using them. I'm seeing a cool new example every day. So they've really taken off, which we love. It's great to work on something for a while, launch it, and people like it. 2 thumbs up. So within your Mighty Network, there are 3 types of courses you can run. This is really flexible. One is just content. So if you just want to organize a set of resources, you have some content ready to go, and you want to put that in a course, super easy to do. We have people who maybe do that as like a resource guide for members that they can just go through to kind of get grounded in part of what they're learning together. That's really simple, easy to set up. They're all easy to set up. Another option is to have the content and add a community. So Marnie's clicking into our Mighty Refresh. And this is a course we have if maybe you've been in your Mighty Network for a little while, you want to get regrounded in some of the principles, you want a little boost, you want some frameworks, you're feeling a little stuck on something. We offer this kind of lighter weight course called the Mighty Refresh. So this is a course. We have all the content in here, and we have a community here. So people aren't necessarily going through as a cohort. They may be coming in at different times. They may be jumping around to various lessons depending on what they're into at that moment. But there is a community where people can ask questions related to the course, can kind of comment on lessons. So there's a sense of camaraderie around this course material as people go through it together. And finally, and this is a really great option if you're just getting started, is what we do with our Community Design Masterclass, which is we build the course live with a cohort of students, with a community of students as we go. So for community design, we have live sessions, and Marnie's going to click into our February one that is just about on week 5 is this week. So it's wrapping up as we get ready for the new cohort starting next week. So we built this course live as we go. So, week 1, we have our first live session together. People are showing up. Of course, you can attend the replay if you can't make the live session. I know somebody asked about that. The replay is there, but we have various other components where you're doing things together. So we have office hours where you can come together. We're prompting you to do challenges and to do, I want to call it homework, but that's not cool, to do fun exercises together, and you're doing them at the same time, right? Because you are in the same cohort that is building on each other. So at the end of these 5 weeks, I mean, you may have relationships with these people, honestly, because you've been through this together. You've seen hey, this is my big purpose, draft 1. Do you have any feedback? And you've seen it evolve, right, to their final. I love this post that is up on the screen right now, right? She turned her big purpose statement into a video that she's using on her landing page. That is so rad, right? You're going to see people's communities take shape together, which is not only helpful to learn from other people in the class, but also super inspiring, not just for people in the class, but for us, honestly. So this is just a little bit of a sneak peek into the masterclass, right? You're going to come in, you're going to get the overview, you're going to get what to expect each week, right? We're going to lay out, hey, this is what's going to happen and when. This is what you're going to have access to. This is when things are going to be posted. So we will hold your hand and walk you through what this course is. And here is what we covered. Do you want to go back, actually, Marnie, to the main page? can kind of take them through week by week. So here's what we will cover in the masterclass, right? Again, I keep saying, oh, bam, is there a maximum number of participants in this current cohort? There is not currently. What we would want to do is think about capping it if we felt like everyone couldn't have a great experience. But like we've had, I think the biggest cohort to date has been over 400 people, and it's been great. So we're not at that stage yet. So tell your friends, tell your friends' friends. It's a party, come on. So here's what we're going to take you through, right? We start with the big purpose. And again, helping you identify, hey, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did I sign up for this class? And then we help you identify your ideal member. We help you write your story. These are the things that are the foundations of successful communities. Gina, our CEO, leads this class along with Audra, our senior community designer. They've seen, I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands communities start. Some haven't made it. Some have been wildly successful. And this class came out of what they saw with those successful communities, and community and the principles of community design come from there. So this is a proven framework. So we're setting you up with the foundation at the beginning. Part two, a year in the life. There's a reason why we say a year too, right? It helps to not think about this like necessarily week by week, day by day, but think about after a year together, what are the results I want to see for my community? What are we going to achieve together? What are the results going to be for myself as a host? And what are they going to be for the members of my community? And we start to think about monthly themes, right? How can I build towards that? And we give you great frameworks, and we give you tons of feedback on your challenges to help you through this. Part three is putting everything together into your community design plan, right? You are going to have the instruction manual. You are going to leave the class feeling confident that you know what you want to do. Oh, Joanne, thank you. Joanne says in the chat, if anyone has questions for a host who's been through the class already, message her. Get the real scoop. Get the real scoop. No, this is the real scoop. Joanne will, I guarantee Joanne will echo everything I'm saying here, which is great. So then,
just quickly to pause before you go into week 4, Trish had a question about, if I'm not going to charge for something, is this worth it? So Trish, the first 3 weeks here will carry you for a year or more. So I've even seen Flip having some comments around this as well. So you can kind of come back to it if you decide to do something around pricing, or at least a way to think about how to make this so valuable that people will spend their time, and that it's so easy to set up and keep it running. And then you're creating these habits, and the community starts to run itself in really, really beautiful ways. So
yeah.
Yes.
That's a great point. When we talk about when we're trying to let people know about this course, we say, hey, it's going to help you. It's going to give you the frameworks to create a community so valuable you can charge for it, and so well designed it essentially runs itself. And so I don't want you to go into this thinking, oh, like community design plan, is this going to be a whole new job for me? Maybe you already have like a super demanding day job. No, like these are the frameworks we're giving you to actually take the pressure off, which is great. And to seed that engagement in your community. So people are going to start talking to each other. It's going to become more valuable for every member with each new member who joins and contributes. And you're going to start to see that snowball effect with your community. So great point. So once you have your community design plan, we take you into, a deeper dive than what we're talking about here in terms of structure, in terms of pricing. So you feel, again, really confident as you're going to launch, which goes into part 5, right? Growth, the community launch formula. Where do I start? Where do I go from here? I have this wonderful big purpose. I know who my ideal member is. I want to get going. We take you through that, which is awesome. So at the end of these 5 weeks, and we have the bonus session which you saw about starting an online course. At the end of these 5 weeks, you're going to feel really, really confident. and if that's one thing I want to leave you with as you're thinking about taking this class is, what could you do? What kind of how would it change the energy you're putting into your Mighty Network if you felt super confident in what the next year would look like for that network? And that's priceless. That is going to give you the energy and motivation you need to get up every day and think about this amazing community you're starting. So that's what I want to leave you with in terms of community design and the course structure. It's also, by the way, if you are interested in doing courses and thinking about, oh, I want to build a course as we go, not only is community design a way for you to kind of learn the principles of community design, but it's also a way to see firsthand how we are building this course, how we are running this course, how we're organizing it. As Marnie said, you can have separate topics. These are ours, right? So each week we're launching a new topic related to some of the lessons we're doing, and the conversations are organized here. So it's a little bit of a masterclass in course creation as well, which is great. So I thought I want to leave a little bit time for questions, but I just want to show you a few more case studies with community design graduates, right? What have people been able to do after they took this course? And I picked out a couple of my favorites. It's hard to pick favorites, but I picked out a couple. And I want to call out just a few lessons that they have taken from community design. So the first one is teach music online. And what I love about this, so her membership is teaching other music teachers how to teach music online, right? Something she's been successful at. But there's a couple things to call out here. One is she was also kind of figuring this out, right? She was a half step ahead, and that was enough. That was enough to build her business. She wasn't some expert who had like a PhD in teaching music courses online, which probably doesn't exist now that I say that out loud, but it could, you never know. She was a half step ahead. And what she also really did is she had identified the ideal number so perfectly. And she didn't start her Mighty Network with 1,000 people. She was like, who needs my community the most right now? This was during the pandemic, and she was able to identify the people who needed it the most right now and successfully launch her Mighty Network. This is also a great example of how to move a community. She tried a couple of different places, a couple of different things, and then was able to kind of consolidate everything in her Mighty Network. So that's a great lesson there. Verbal to visual is another really cool one. And this is a visual note-taking community, which as someone who's not that artistic is very, very cool to me, right? It's like he is teaching people how to learn, to study, to take notes, retain information better through this really cool style of note-taking. And he took community design, and the lesson I feel like he took from this, which is really neat, is he decided, hey, I'm going to build this new course I wanted to do as I go. I'm going to build the lessons as we're going through it, and I'm going to get feedback from members and make sure I understand the questions they have about this topic, and we're all going to move through it together. So again, he didn't need to have, hours and hours of content ready to go. He took advantage of the feature and he built it live as he went, which I think was great. Finally, I want to show you the Slow AF Run Club. So this is Martinez. Pretty amazing numbers, first of all, which is inspiring for those who are thinking about, how do I create a community so valuable, right? 140K in the first year, pretty epic. And Martinez, what I love about him is many things, but he took community design and he realized, hey, I need to experiment my way. I need to stay open. I need to experiment my way to what works for my community. So he tried a couple different things, right? He started with like a paid membership. He had a few groups. He went through a few iterations. Eventually, he decided he was going to do his Slow AF Run Club free to join, but then charge for more personalized, more premium offerings. And he had some really great growth over the first year. He gave himself a year. He gave himself a year to figure it out, right? He took community design. He got the annual business plan, which, by the way, if you get the business plan, community design is only $99, which is the bargain of the century. And he gave himself a year to experiment into it and find what works. And it's a thriving community for sure. Joanne loves Slow AF. That's great. I'm a member and not even a runner. Okay, come on.
Me too. I'm being honest. I'm aspiring to do one of his classes that's like how to learn how to be a runner.
Amazing. Yeah. I love that. It's, again, talk about community growth. He's got people who aren't even runners. So what I want to leave you with on community design, hopefully you're inspired. We have this button below where you can check out a landing page that gives you a little more detail, a little more background on Gina, who leads the class. If I leave you again with one thing, I want you to know you're going to have confidence coming out of this class. And the second thing, we are our Mighty Networks, right? We think this is the best place to build your community. This class is platform agnostic, right? So you're going to take lessons from this that you could take and build a community anywhere you want to build that community. Of course, there's other options for you. We strongly feel that Mighty Networks is the best place for many reasons, which is a whole other session. But I don't want you to think, oh, I'm going to go in this class, and if it doesn't work out with me in Mighty Networks, I'm going to have wasted that time. I'm going to have wasted that money. These are lessons about building community you can take into jobs, you can take to other platforms. You're going to learn something valuable. I promise you that. So keep that in mind as you're kind of thinking about it. And I also want to let you know we have another session tomorrow with Gina, so you can get a feel for her teaching style. It's called Why Community Now, and it's posted in Mighty Host. Oh, perfect. Marnie just shared it. I would encourage you to sign up for that, and you'll get just a little taste of what the class is like. Whew, okay, so we have 4 minutes left. I see that we have been very active in the Ask a Question, but Sagar has been in there, which is great. Oh, I want to answer this question. I think this is an important one. So how do you recommend converting people from a Facebook group over to Mighty Networks? And I am going to answer it by sharing yet another link, which let me pull up really quick. We have an entire guide to moving your community. This happens a ton. I just posted it in the chat. Check it out. Where you may have started on a Facebook group, you may have a Facebook group of 10,000 people, 1,000 people, and you're like, actually, I want to move this over to a Mighty Network. What I love about this guide is we give you the scripts, we give you the timeline, we help you respond to the objections you're going to hear, because there will be some naysayers, and it'll really take you step by step through how to make that transition, which is great. And many, many people have done it successfully. If you look at the case studies, you'll see there's a few people who had communities elsewhere and then moved you through. Biagio says, do you have a program for future webinars? So we're with you through March for sure. Every Wednesday, we will be doing our Product 101. Every Wednesday in March. And then for April, May, stay tuned. We will be figuring out the right cadence and making sure you have the information you need. You can also check out our YouTube channel, where we have both the old recordings of these Product 101s, and we've also kind of chopped them up into smaller sections, so you can see, oh, here's a little bit where they talk about topics. Here's where they talk about the 3 types of courses. Those are called Mighty Minutes. Branding. So you can check those out if you just have a few minutes and you want to kind of refresh what was said. Yeah.
Not the link to the YouTube channel. And it's not mysterious, by the way. It's, of course, Mighty Networks. In case we can quick link there.
Yeah. This was awesome. I feel this is a great way to start St. Patrick's Day. And I thank you all so much for joining and the great questions. Thank you, Brady, Sagar, Diana, for answering some of those more technical questions. If you are on the business plan, there's a host help button in your network. You can get that help when you need it. You will probably be talking to one of those people. Someone shared a shamrock in the chat. That's so cute. So thank you all. And you'll have this recording in your email inbox. Here's to a green beer. It was a little early for me, Daniel, but maybe we'll see. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.